In today's video, I'm going to show you how we fix this 4K Vizio TV with model number M65-C1. The issue we're experiencing is when I press power, we do get our standby light, and it's going to fade away. I can go ahead and power it on. The standby light comes back, but at no point do I get any picture on the screen. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Nick. I started Nick's Electronics Repair over a decade ago, and since then we have fixed over 26,000 devices. Now the first step we want to make is to bring the TV screen facing down on our workbench so we can remove the back cover and inspect further. Now, based off of lots of prior repair experience, whenever we have a standby light is present but no picture on screen, we can typically rule out our power supply and bring our attention to the main board. The main board is the part that does most commonly fail with this model anyways, so we're going to go ahead and remove it and inspect it at our workbench. If you're not sure how to remove the back cover or the main board from your TV, we will have a video available both at the end of this video and as well in the description down below. Now, when it comes to these main boards, the most common failure we see is going to be cracked solder joints between the processor chips underneath this black heatsink and the PCB itself. Now, unfortunately, when it does come to cracked solder joints on BGA type chips, it is very difficult to identify and confirm because you can't just put your multimeter leads to the board and confirm that there is a crack. You just more or less have to already know that that is the issue. One way we can confirm that the problem is due to those cracked solder joints is by reflowing the processors, which means essentially reforming those solder bonds. In order to do that, we do need to prep this board. We'll have to remove the heatsink as well as the thermal pads on the back. So let's begin with that. Starting on the back side, we're going to go ahead and slowly peel away the thermal pads. And this is a bit of a slow process, but you don't want to rush it. Otherwise, the pad might start breaking into smaller pieces, and that'll make it a little bit harder. We almost had it in one piece. Now, it doesn't really matter that I did break it because we are going to be replacing the thermal pad with a brand new one before we put it back in the TV. Now, there is some adhesive on the bottom of the pad, and that's what is allowing the pad to actually stick to the board. Now, that adhesive, when heated up to high temperatures, which is something we need to do to properly reflow the circuit boards, will have some pretty toxic fumes. So what we need to do is really make sure we properly clean this board so that we reduce the amount of toxic fumes as much as possible. Well, it's hard to see it through the camera, but there is quite a bit of oil residue left behind from these pads, so we'll definitely want to clean that off as well. And finally, for this one, we can just peel it up. Now, this is double-sided tape. We can go ahead and remove that. Same thing, there is adhesive on the back side, so we do want to make sure we get rid of all of it. Now, for the heatsink, there's going to be these plastic pins. Using my needle nose pliers, we're going to pinch those tabs and push it through. And we're going to repeat that a few more times. Pinching the side tabs, pushing it through. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this thermal pad here and here. And we're going to clean off some of the excess thermal paste. And it is pretty dried up and crusty, which could be an indicator that we're not getting good thermal dissipation with this thermal paste, and we'll definitely want to replace it. Okay, that is the bulk of it. Now, even though the board is fairly clean at this point, I still have some oil residue and a little bit of, I don't know, corrosion or oxidation, I'm not exactly sure. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in an isopropyl alcohol bath, and then it'll be ready for the reflows. The board has now finished the cleaning process, so we're ready to rework it. The board has been preheating for about a minute or so. Now we can go ahead and add some flux to help with the reflow process. About 5 minutes has passed. The machine has reached the solder's melting point, and to confirm this, we are prodding the chip. If the chip is able to move, it will confirm the solder is liquid and the bonds have reformed. We are now going to perform the same process on the other chip. Same as before, the board has now warmed up a little bit, so we can go ahead and add our flux. Again, we've reached the solder's melting point, so we're going to go ahead and prod the chip to ensure that the solder is indeed liquid. And we are seeing movement to the chip, thus confirming a proper reflow. While we're waiting for the circuit board to cool down, I'm going to start prepping the heatsink and our bottom pad. For the heatsink prep, it's going to be fairly straightforward. We're simply going to remove all of the old crusty thermal paste. And the remainder that's not coming off easily, we're going to use some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip to clean it off. All right, perfect. So the heatsink is now prepped and ready. We're going to prep this heatsink next, and we're just going to be removing that adhesive that's left over. All right, for the new thermal paste, we're going to be using our MX-6. Now this thermal paste, from my understanding, is much higher quality than the thermal paste that is originally used by Vizio. So we should have better heat dissipation from the CPU die into our heatsink. We just want to make sure we have a really good spread. Plenty of thermal paste. All right, we can put our heatsink back on. I realized I did not put our thermal pads back on, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the heatsink again. Well, this is a good opportunity for us to check and ensure that our spread for the thermal paste is good. And of course, it looks immaculate. Now, I am always hesitant to put the old ones back on for a couple reasons. Number one, they are old. They are not dehydrated, but some of the oils have leaked out of them. So I would just rather put fresh ones on. And while I don't doubt that they're decent quality, the ones that we put on I know are very high quality. Now the ones we have are actually a little bigger than they need to be, but that's okay. It's just slightly wasteful. So we're going to be placing this heatsink back on. I'm just adding new adhesive pads. And finally the other two pads. Now there is a pad that goes here. I honestly am not quite sure what it belongs to because there is no processor or IC chip that I'm aware of that gets extremely hot and requires additional cooling, but we do put one there anyways because that's how it comes in the TV. And here we are. Now we're ready to live test it again. I have now reinstalled the main board back into our TV, so we're gonna go ahead and give it power. Okay, again, we have our white standby light. We'll wait for it to fade away, power it on, and do we now have our picture? We do have our picture. So it does look like we have a successful repair. Now, before we call this a completed repair, I am going to do some double checks, make sure that our audio and our video is working throughout all the HDMIs. And we have now confirmed that all of our audio and video is working. If you're interested in checking out the back cover and main board removal, you can check it out over here. If you are interested in sending in your main board for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services, which come with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which is linked in the description down below. If you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.